In the heart of ancient Egypt, where the Nile whispered secrets to the desert winds, a civilization was born, in splendor beyond imagination. Pharaohs rose as living gods, their word law, their gaze commanding loyalty, worship, and sometimes fear. These rulers weren't just kings. They were the embodiment of divine power, vessels of destiny on earth. Each reign began with promises of prosperity, glory, and immortality, carved in stone and sung by priests. But behind the golden granite, there lingered shadows of betrayal, ambition, and the haunting grip of mortality. From the pyramids of Giza to the hidden tombs of the Valley of the Kings, their legacies live in dust and legend. In these ancient chambers lie secrets not just of kings, but of conspiracies, passions, and dreams that shook the empire. It was here, in this sacred soil, that rivalries festered and dynasties fell, betrayal always lurking behind the throne. And yet, for all their mortal flaws, the pharaohs built wonders that defied time itself. They dreamed in stone and ruled by divine right, but their stories were written in blood and ambition. As we peel back the layers of myth, we discover a world both glorious and grim, radiant yet ruthless. This is not just history, this is the epic of the pharaohs, rulers of the world's greatest ancient power. And our tale begins with the boy king, Tutankhamun, a name spoken for centuries in awe and mystery. His reign was brief, yet his discovery in the 20th century stunned the world with gold, curses, and unanswered questions. Tutankhamun became an icon, not for what he did, but for what his tomb revealed, the opulence and fragility of the empire. He lived in a time of great upheaval, young, vulnerable, and surrounded by powerful advisors with their own agendas. His death, sudden and unexplained, opened the floodgates to endless theories and endless wonder. Was it illness, an accident, or something more sinister? An assassination in the corridors of power? The boy who wore the crown of Ra became a symbol of Egypt's eternal enigma, and in death he achieved what many pharaohs could not, immortality in the eyes of the world. Then came Ramses the Second, great builder, the warrior king, the sun god's chosen. He ruled for over 6 decades, leading armies into battle and raising monuments that scraped the skies. Ramses was ambition incarnate, casting his legacy in stone across temples, statues, and grand colossi. He battled the mighty Hittites at Kadesh, claiming victory in poems even when the truth was less clear. Under his command, Egypt flourished, but even gods must age, and his twilight brought unrest and intrigue. The grandeur of his reign masked growing strains, economic burdens, internal dissent, and fragile alliances. His ambition was his strength, but also the spark for future turmoil that fractured the empire. He lived long, ruled longer, but even Ramses could not halt the shifting sands of change. The temple stood, but the unity of Egypt began to crumble beneath their weight. And as the dust settled, a different queen stepped forward. Not with armies, but with allure, Cleopatra. She was not born to power, but seized it through wit, charm, and strategic brilliance. Cleopatra defied the world, playing empires like pieces on a chessboard of ambition. Her romances with Julius Caesar and Mark Antony were more than passion. They were power plays, risky and bold. She sought to restore Egypt's pride amid the rising tide of Rome's expansion and dominance. But Rome was relentless, and her final gamble ended not with triumph, but with tragedy. Her death marked the end of Pharaohs and the fall of a kingdom into foreign hands. Yet Cleopatra's name endured, etched in memory as both seductress and sovereign. Her legacy is debated, but her legend is unshaken. She was Egypt's last queen, and perhaps its greatest. The age of divine rulers was over, but their impact continued, echoing through time's corridors. They had shaped history, culture, religion, and even the future, long after their tombs were sealed. Still, the legacy of the pharaohs isn't just found in temples or scrolls, but in what they represent. They remind us of the heights humanity can reach, and the depths it can fall. Every scarab buried, every mural painted, every chamber sealed, held a story worth telling. Stories of power earned and lost, of love betrayed, of kingdoms forged in sand and dreams. Each pharaoh, from the mightiest to the forgotten, contributed a thread to Egypt's vast, vibrant tapestry. Their tales are not mere relics. They are reflections of our own desires, fears, and ambitions. For though they walked in gold and spoke as gods, they were, at their core, human. They loved, feared, ruled, and died, just like us. And in their fragile humanity, we see the truth behind the crown. Power, no matter how divine, is always fleeting, but legacy endures. So now, as we look back on the timeless sands and broken statues, what remains is not just stone, it is story. The story of a civilization that dared to dream of eternity and almost achieved it. From Tutankhamun's innocence to Ramses' might and Cleopatra's cunning, their lives shaped the world. And though their empires have turned to ruins, their names are etched into the soul of history. The pharaohs are gone, but their voices still whisper through tomb walls and temple halls. They speak of ambition and downfall, of glory and pain, of triumph and tragedy. They urge us to remember, to learn, to wonder, and to never forget where we came from. Because in remembering them, we remember ourselves. And as their stories continue to captivate generations, we realize this simple truth: the age of pharaohs may be over, but their legacy is forever.